So we are currently mobbing down the road towards Puyo. And I was just observing that it is kind of interesting how you just go flying by so many other motorcycles. And I don't think the cars are very used to getting passed by bikes around here, because unless you're in traffic, all the cars are way faster than the motorcycles. Now these little bikes probably top out at like 80 kilometers an hour or something. So you come along on the 650 and just go flying right by them. Or on the 1000 for that matter. And if you're in a car, you're probably used to passing motorcycles all the time, which is quite the opposite of what would happen in America, where I'm from. Motorcycles are pretty much all faster than cars. So you're always getting passed by bikes. Unless that particular bike is a Harley Davidson, and then you're probably going to pass it. Man, the speed bumps are so easy on this bike. You don't even have to stand up really, just suspension soaks it all up. There's another little bike, then you put two people on it. It's not going to be moving real fast. I think the only big bikes I've seen so far on this trip were in Quito. I saw like a 2005 R1. I saw a fairly modern R6 ripping it up the canyons when we were going out to the equator. And I saw a Diavel when we were coming back from the equator, which really blew me away because a Diavel is, what, 22 grand or something brand new? Which means here it's got to be $50,000. So much money. But hey, some people gotta have buckets of ducats around here, right? You got all that oil and gold and bananas making money for everybody. A little bumpy. Take third. I keep forgetting how to use this bike. It's got like 66 horsepower, but like, you know, 60 foot-pounds of torque as well. I'm used to sport bikes, which are always tuned for high-end power, not so much low-end torque. And so you really want to use the top of the rev range to get anywhere. But I got to wrap my mind around it on this bike and the one in front of me. The torque is really what's amplified because it's meant to be digging you out of, you know, muddy ruts or whatever, or mobbing off-road. So that bike has 99 horsepower, which seems like nothing for a modern 1000. But then you look at the torque figures and it's 75 foot-pounds, which is quite a lot. Which tells me that if you want to ride this bike and get the most out of it, you really got to kind of keep it in the low to mid rev range, because that's where all your power is going to be. It also shakes and vibrates a lot when you got it up in the top RPM, because it's a big twin. I mean, the bike doesn't, but you can feel the motor shaking around. So it almost feels like it's not happy doing it. It runs a lot nicer, a lot smoother, and a lot more powerfully when you keep the RPMs a bit low, kind of where I am now, which is 5,000–6,000 RPM. It seems to be, yeah, sort of right on the boil there. That's kind of the sweet spot of engine smoothness and power delivery. As a commuter bike, that would probably work out. You know, if you were the kind of person that's going in the cities a lot and need something for those types of speeds, this sort of torquiness would be good. The uprightness would be comfortable. You can see over traffic. So this kind of bike would probably work in that kind of environment. If you were always out on the freeways doing high speeds and long distances, I mean, here it seems okay because the speed limits are only, you know, 100 kilometers, 60 miles an hour. But if you were in Arizona where everyone's doing 80–90 miles an hour on the Loop 101, you are going to want something that's faster. because you got to keep up or you're going to get splattered. All right, just stopped to put some rain gear on because the road was getting pretty wet, which usually is an indicator that there's going to be rain somewhere. Yesterday we were just riding through rain clouds because that's just the altitude we were at. And oh yeah, here we go. So I made the right call. I said I'm gonna stop right here and put rain gear on before it gets any nastier. Bob said, nah, I'll tough it out. And look at that, 2 miles later, or 30 feet later, it's fucking raining. You want rain gear? Yeah? I need to do my hood, which I didn't put on correctly, so now the back of my body is gonna get wet. So let's try this again. Better. Let's put my wet gloves on. Damn it. It is no fun being wet, let me tell you. It's also no fun being hot, so I took off my regular coat and put that in the box. I'm just wearing this flimsy old thing, because I don't want to be roasting. So here's a pro tip. Try and put your rain gear on before it starts raining. Sometimes you get lucky and you find one of these bus stops. You can pull over and put your gear on without getting totally soaked. Sometimes you want to check the weather before you leave, but that's not always possible, because out here in the Andes, the rain just comes and goes as it pleases. Started raining pretty good on us, so we stopped and put on the rain gear. Gotta say the Defender 2.0, excuse me, Tourmaster Defender 2.0 rain gear is working pretty well. I'm still nice and dry. Got my suspenders on, my boots. So that's a good result. Happy about that. Decided we get out of the rain, get out of the cold, come have a nice hot cup of traditional Ecuadorian coffee. As you can see by the sign behind me, we thought we were in the clear, but they only have instant coffee. What kind of coffee shop in Ecuador only has instant coffee? Which they call Café Pasado, which I listened to and thought, was that yesterday's coffee? But it might as well be. There's a bike. There's another bike. Got my super short kickstand on there. Excuse me, super long kickstand, because the bike is actually lowered. So any kind of road camber means the bike's just gonna fall over. So I had to find a really flat spot to park it. But I saw something else cool out the window. So I'm gonna walk over here and show you what it is. Look at this extended swing arm custom Jack Daniels chopper they got over here. Looks like the guy built the frame himself. It's pretty interesting. But since we are on bikes, and this is kind of a bike channel, I thought I'd show you whatever I find. All right, just rode an hour through some pretty serious rain. Wasn't a lot of fun. Had to stop, put the rain gear on, which means taking the camera off, because it's not waterproof when you have a microphone plugged into it. Thanks GoPro, you guys suck. Anyway, it looked pretty cool over here. Some super tall mountain sides, and people are farming way up there. See if I can get a clear view of the side of the mountain. You see these huts like on the steepest part of the thing. They can plant stuff anywhere. Yeah, tons of people on bikes. Everyone giving me waves now. These are the first section of road I've been on where other motorcyclists are giving me the old wave as you go by. In the States, that's just kind of a thing. If you pass another motorcyclist, you give them a little wave. It gets old after a while, especially when you're on some canyon road with like 300 other motorcyclists and you gotta take your hand off the bars every 2 seconds to wave at somebody. But it's all right. It's a nice gesture. So I think these maybe are some tourists that are riding this way. I've seen a few more people on the same type of motorcycle with gear bags on and all that kind of stuff. So This must be a more heavily traveled route for moto touring than we've been on before. These tunnels are really interesting. I've been through a couple already, and what I noticed that was somewhat alarming is that water just blasts right through the cracks. So you'll be riding through this tunnel and there'll just be a waterfall right in the middle of it covering the whole road, which seems like it would affect the structural stability of the tunnel, but you know, hasn't fallen down yet. Bob had a theory. He said maybe the water leaking through prevents it all from creating a bunch of pressure on top of the tunnel and collapsing it. So hey, you know, maybe that works. Some real tall mountains around here. There's supposedly a big old volcano that we're supposed to be riding by, but with all these low clouds I don't think we'll be able to see it, which is kind of unfortunate. Wow. Oh no, I don't want to slow down. It's another tunnel. Hopefully we don't get wet inside the tunnel. Oh, man, and it's wet in the tunnel. Look at this, it's raining indoors. This bus in front of me has disco lights on it. It's a party bus. This is cool, it's like being in Switzerland or something, you know? Cruising through the Alps. It's green, it's a little bit of rain, low-lying cloud, twisty roads. It's a good, fun experience. So I don't want to say it for sure, but it seems like most of the rain comes when you hit some altitude. Because if you look at the weather maps and the forecast and the radar and all that, you usually don't see that much rain. But once you go through a mountain pass, it'll start to get a little drizzly, and then all of a sudden it starts raining, and that's happened twice each time we've gone through the mountains. And then you get to the other side and it's like this. It's bright and sunny and no signs of moisture in the air at all. So we'll see if that theory holds true as we continue our journey. Rainy in the mountains, sunny in the lowlands. So we're getting close to Baños. It seems like a pretty popular area. And we'll get some lunch. And maybe find some roads that have waterfalls going over them, which is what I thought. Oh, damn! That thing is flowing too. There's a party bus behind me. I can hear their music. That's too funny. People getting drunk on the bus, Scottsdale style. Hey. Well, I have to say I'm really enjoying this motorcycle. It's the best rental bike I've ever had. When we were in Nova Scotia, we rented some Versys 650 Kawasaki's. Those are pretty lame. They weren't bad bikes. They just felt, I don't know, top heavy, underpowered. Just, I don't know. Didn't do it for me. It wasn't an exciting ride. And then we went to Chile and I rented that BMW GS 750 or 800 or something like that, 700, I don't know, something like that. And that thing was slow, it was top heavy. I really didn't like the gearing, and I had to get two of them because the first one gearbox broke on me. It wouldn't shift out of third gear, which, you know, you might need first and second when you're going up muddy mountains in Chile. And then I went to Puerto Rico and we rented a Harley Davidson. That was the biggest piece of crap I've ever ridden. Not just because it was a Harley, because it wasn't really maintained as well as it could have been. On that particular bike, the ignition switch flat out fell off the motorcycle while I was riding it. The mirror was all loose and dangling everywhere. It was leaking oil like a sieve. What else? And the speedometer was just like a suggestion. It would just bounce between like a 20-mile-an-hour spread. So you might be going 40, you might be going 60, yeah, it doesn't matter. But that was an island bike, and we had some pretty slow, flat, easy-going roads in Puerto Rico. Not a lot of elevation, so you really didn't need anything too intense for that kind of ride. You were just kind of just cruising anyway. So the Harley worked for that, but I wouldn't pick it again. This bike, on the other hand, is a gem. It's smooth, it's not too top heavy, the suspension's really compliant when you're going over bumps. It's got traction control and stuff, so that's, you know, important. Keep you from crashing. The power band is pretty good. The gearbox works nice and smooth. These are aftermarket mirrors, but they do work very well. These ram mount mirrors. What else? If I had one complaint about this bike, it's the seat. It is not the most comfortable seat in the world. After 2-3 hours, you can definitely feel it in your backside. So if you do want to get one of these and ride it for long distances, you may want to think about the optional comfort gel seat. I don't know if they have one of those, but they probably do. Most motorcycle companies do. So that's a little disappointing that my butt hurts after a long ride on this. I thought it would be a lot more comfortable in that regard. I had my Aprilia Tuono factory out down to Tucson from Phoenix not too long ago. Rode about 5 hours through all the back roads down there and back, and I didn't feel any soreness in my bum after that. So Tuono can go touring if you can find a place to put anything on it. What is this place? Spa Resorts. Welcome to Baños. Interesting little town. Gonna mob through here. Try and find somewhere to eat. Treat that stop sign like a suggestion. Guy's walking his cab, saving gas. The hell? Skirt. I like the name of this place. Blah blah. Sandwiches and coffee. A cool looking little town. I got some decorations up. Maybe it's for New Year's. Alright, heading through Baños. Totally ruined the trip in. There's supposedly like an old road that you can cycle through, and that's where all the cool waterfalls are. I thought it was just on the regular street, so we blew that one. But hey, there's one big waterfall right there in front of us, so we'll go check it out. Take a picture before I get out of town. Baños is heaving with tourists. My goodness, this is the place to go if you're coming to Ecuador. You got all these like river expeditions and waterfalls to check out. You can rent bicycles and go ride that trail. You can do like a tour bus over there. I think they got some cable car things kind of going on too that you can take across the canyon. There's also an enormous volcano. Actually, supposedly there's 4 volcanoes, but there's a huge one just to my right. And there's a trail that you can take up there, though it's not recommended because the volcano might explode and then you'll die. Oh my god. That is a tall waterfall. Now it's time to get out of Baños. Not getting killed by a bus on the wrong side of the road. Pepperoni's Snack Burger. Alright. Don't really know where I'm going. Hopefully I can get out of this town somehow. Not really sure where I'm going. That's the main road. Oh, there's that volcano. You can't even see the top of it, but it's up there. Wow, that's so huge. Alright, finally got out of Baños. Traffic is damn ridiculous. Remember that if you're on the way there, leave early. Some of these little valleys and canyons down to the right, they drop off like 1,000 feet. It's pretty intense. Yeah, look at that. Woo! And then on the other side, you got this volcano up there. My God, that thing is huge! See if I can get a good look at it. Wow! Yeah, now you can see that volcano. My goodness, that thing is a monster. I guess it erupted not too long ago. Yeah, look way up on that hill. You got like some houses and some farms and stuff. That's pretty cool. I don't know how you get up there. Helicopter or a real long walk. My God, it is miles to the bottom of that ravine. That's scary. You do not want to come off this road. It'll be a couple of minutes till you stop falling. This scenery is incredible. Look at those villages way up on the ridge there. How does that stuff even stay on the mountain without falling off? That is incredible. I wonder if I'm going to wind up that road. Perhaps. It's so steep. And you can see the farming all the way at the top. It's all zoned off for growing something. Really is amazing stuff. Serious views here. There's a landslide for you, or a lava flow maybe. Huh. The road's just flat out gone because of lava or whatever. That's some funny shit right there. This is a lava flow, people. This road used to exist, and now it don't. At least they got the pedestrians covered with a little bridge there. I'm glad I didn't have to ride across that thing. Yeah, carved out a big, wow, big old canyon all the way to the bottom. This is amazing stuff. Never been this close to a volcano, I don't think. At least not one that's semi-active. And here's some more missing road. What am I fucking looking at? Is that where I have to ride on? Oh my God. Oh my God, look at that. Look at the angle on this road coming up. This is outrageous. Don't look down, baby. Whoa. This is scary stuff, man. This is scary stuff. When they said this road had been reopened, that was an interesting term to use. Get through the mud, power on up. Wow, yeah. When that lava flow came down, man, it just tore big old chunks out of the side of this mountain. Well, that big sign that said warning, I hope it wasn't in relation to this road not existing anymore. Because if we have to turn around and go the other way to Riobamba, it's going to be another entire day basically added to our itinerary. And when you've got it planned as well as I do, you don't really have a lot of time to be dilly-dallying that way. We'd have to give up a hotel night somewhere else and then ride like 8 freaking hours to get to the next spot. Bumps, dips. Well, that volcanic stuff is pretty slippery. You can feel the back end moving around quite a bit going up that. Let's see what Bobby has to say.
You must get some good footage there.
Yeah, some wild stuff. The lava flow, I mean, it just took out like it's like just a V out of the side of this mountain. It's incredible.
We actually got to see a bit of the volcano before the
yeah
covered it.
Yeah,
kind of cool.
Alright, so quick update. Turns out I took a wrong turn, and this is the old road to Riobamba, not the new road to Riobamba, which explains why it's in shambles. Oh, bottomed it out. So GPS might have been helpful. I was just following the signs to Riobamba. I didn't know there was a second sign to go to Riobamba. But I think we passed the worst of it by now, judging by our proximity to the volcano. Seems like we're heading away from it. So I'm sure the new highway, which I should have been on, would have been a whole lot nicer to ride on, but that's okay. It's all part of the adventure. And scaring yourself shitless going down a road like this is all part of the fun. This part isn't that scary, but when you're making a hairy U-turn across a bunch of mud with a 3,000-foot drop to one side, it'll make you think twice. Overall, this is not a real bad road though. I mean, there's definitely ways to navigate through it without getting wet or getting lost in a giant pothole, so it's not too bad. This volcanic sand though is really slick. You can feel the bike moving around under you more than it normally would on a regular dirt road. So you probably don't want to come flying into any of these corners unless you're one of those real experienced dirt riders that likes to get slideways on your motorcycle. In which case, this would probably be a blast. Holes in the road. I'm glad we dropped down some elevation, so at least if I fall off the side of this cliff, it'll only be about 100 meters till I hit the water. Yeah, we're getting real close to the river valley now. Sooner rather than later, we'll probably meet up with that main road again, and all will be well. Yeah, we're getting way low now. We're gonna be underwater pretty soon. Well, this will probably be the most exciting portion of this entire trip in terms of the road conditions. Because I had planned on it all being paved. I also don't plan on making wrong turns, but I should because I do it all the time. Yeah, look at this. More volcanic destruction. And again, testament to the Suzuki's suspension. It's really not that rough riding on this stuff. You don't feel much of it. It absorbs a lot of the bad stuff. Let's try lower gear. More lava destruction again. Hoop, hip, hip, hop, hop. Fun. Well, this guy's going pretty slow. I don't really want to breathe in his dust the rest of this trip, so. Oh, god damn. Bouncing everywhere. Alright, okay, yep, no. Still in one piece. That car's not going to have fun going down that hill. You know, rattle the Hyundai badge right off it. Well, should only be a couple more minutes till we hit the main road. And we can end these shenanigans. These dirt shenanigans. Now, come on, when is this going to be over? Whoa, 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 buddy. That's not the right side of the road. Oh, pavement. Well, that was exciting. All right, so now we're back on the actual highway. And if you haven't noticed, there's quite a stark contrast. Signs, paint, bridges that are intact, pavement that's nice and smooth. But hey, where would the adventure be if you're just riding this the whole time? It's nice to have a combination. You can hit these fast sweepers and have a good time gripping and ripping, or you can do the slow stuff where you're just gripping onto your handlebars for dear life. Got the veggie truck here. I don't know what's up there. Some kind of plant matter. Telling you, man, I'm loving these twisties. The pavement here is so smooth. Really am impressed. This is a great ride. Try not to get wet. And stuck behind a bus. Alright, ta-ta. So we arrived in Riobamba, and we're at the Osteria Abraspungo, which is a really nice hotel. Look at all these courtyards and trees and grassy area. I'm going to take you on a little tour. Just a quick one. The place is enormous. It's all walled off like its own little area here behind the city. I had no idea how big it was, and so I started walking around. You got some huge grassy fields, big two-story accommodations over there. On this side there's a whole nother square of properties. More rooms over there. More on that side. Flowers everywhere. Great looking place. I mean, I picked the nicest place I could find because that's what I do. And I think I found it. Over here we got some wildlife. Some sheeps. Say hi to the sheeps. Yep. Hi, sheepies. Hello. Bah. No response? Okay. Got some ducks. Hello, ducks. Look at the baby one, he's so fluffy. Got some chickens. Big old rooster. What size is that thing? Little fluffy baby one back there. Anyway, what a place. I'm gonna go get a cocktail. A big one.
We're live.
We're live.
Live in Riobamba.
Riobamba.
Live in Riobamba.
We have to project our voices,
Okay.
make sure we're loud, make sure we can be heard by the camera.
Okay. Right, and it can be edited.
It can be edited,
Good, we need
like to some degree. So,
Quito to jungle back to volcano.
yes. So, thoughts on the first couple of days of riding in general?
Long riding, but roads generally good. Can't argue, except when you take detours around volcanoes, riding on lava.
Well, we all make those mistakes.
It was a good ride and part of the experience. Rain, highly unpredictable. It'll look clear and it starts raining. It looks like it's going to rain like hell and suddenly the sun comes out. It's a constant changing of clothing to deal with it.
You definitely want to have your rain gear handy.
You want the rain gear right there when you need it.
What about my theory about the high mountain passes being rainy and everything on the other side's kind of being
I think you're right. I think that the higher you get in altitude, it's almost cloud. You're really into the cloud, and that's pretty much the same as rain, really. But when it does rain, especially down in that Amazon area, it rains. They must have. I wonder, the Danes have what, 20 words for snow? Different words for snow?
Well, that's the Inuits, isn't it?
No, oh, maybe it's the Inuits.
Inuits, yeah.
Okay.
20 words for snow. You got 20 words for rain
I
then?
think the Amazonians must have 20 words for rain.
Okay, I believe it.
Because it doesn't come down in a normal way. It buckets down. It buckets down. It comes in sheets.
Yeah, I was having trouble seeing, my visor was just totally wet, so I had to just try to peek through the raindrops and be able to get focused down on the road.
The other problem is that you can't always have a good look around because you're constantly going around corners. So you really have to pay attention to the road more than the scenery. My cornering skills have vastly improved in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, in New Mexico, you go straight lines for 100 miles and then there's a bend. But basically, this is cornering.
Yes, this is a lot of cornering.
This is cornering.
In the Southwest, yeah, it's just miles and miles of straight road forever, which is definitely certainly efficient, but it's not any fun. Thoughts on your bike? How you liking your bike?
I'm liking the bike to a large extent. It's I find it a little top heavy, especially at very low speed or stopping. I find that a little disconcerting. But out on the road, you really don't notice it unless you're on a lot of dirt, and then the front wheel moves around more than I would like. I'm quite impressed by the IMU unit. The IMU, because I've tried just for the hell of it braking fairly hard on corners, even wet corners, and I don't end up in the ditch. But braking on the corners is really a new experience. It's really impressive when they can put that technology in.
Yeah. Now it's good to have it as a safety net, and it's nice that it's coming on more and more motorcycles. 2 years ago, you had to spend 20 grand to get the IMU and all the cornering ABS. gas, and now you can get that V-Strom for 11, 12 grand.
12 grand.
Yeah, and it's got it on. So compared to the GS 1200 BMW that you had in Chile, which is supposedly the king of the hill when it comes to adventure bikes, I mean, how would you rate the two?
I like the V-Strom way better.
Yeah.
And also it doesn't have the horizontally opposed engine.
Yeah.
So you could never get your feet forward on that BMW. You're stuck in that riding position. You can't get your legs forward without hitting the motor. And I don't like that at all.
What about just riding dynamics? I mean, did the BMW feel as safe and secure when you were on it as the Suzuki? Just more confidence on the Suzuki.
Yeah, more confidence on the Suzuki. And value for money, heck, it's half the price.
It's
of
half the
BMW.
price.
And believe it or not, although I'm stiff as hell right now, the seat on the Suzuki might be more comfortable than the BMW. It's a weak point of every bike I've ridden. You know, if there's any way that they really need to improve motorcycles for any kind of distance riding, it's the seat.
All right. Well, that's the roads, that's the weather, that's the bikes. What else are we talking about?
The food.
The food? Yeah. Leaves a bit to be desired, really.
A little more ambitious than what we had in Patagonia, but not any better.
Yes, yes. The effort's there, but the results perhaps not so much.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're getting fed. We're staying alive.
We're getting fed. Yeah.
Ooh, and what else did we find today? Finally, some serious Ecuadorian
good
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, we found out the instant coffee here is called Café Pasado, but we now know that what we don't want is Café Pasado.
No, stay away from that.
It's not.
Anything else?
I think it's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Hopefully it hurt us.
All right.